done for these 2 days. And on behalf of Watch Democracy Grow, I want to thank all the past funds, the organizations that sent past funds. Among others, we have the organizations which are connected to social media, the Africa Today, which broadcasted since Saturday, the Four Directions, also which broadcasted. BBC yesterday was here on leadership and promoting good governance. And then with the other organizations that participated for this year's conference. To sum it up, we had various discussions. We started on Saturday with the local discussions. We had policy reforms. Remember, when you are talking of diaspora, we are here. Therefore, you can't beg, you can't advocate to clean at home when you are living where you are living. So we are here. We are always part of the community. And on those discussions, the heading or the discussions were on harmonizing our communities. So we had the elections, we had policy reforms, we had mental health in this time of COVID. So we had wonderful panelists there. And then on Monday, we had economic discussions, which are about promoting economic activities, trade. We had USAID, which presented, we had people who do consultation with the World Bank, which means, again, we are trying to link diaspora to the institutions which are doing some developmental work on the continent. But also remember, diaspora will contribute in terms of remittances. Whenever there is what I would call a deficit, be it in leadership, be it economically empowerment, we are always in. I cannot count how many people give tuitions to their aunties, uncles, siblings. Basically, whenever educational infrastructures are having difficulties, diaspora comes in. When you are talking of health, I don't know how many have sent out money to go and help their family members back home. So whenever there is a failure or there is a deficiency on the government performance, definitely diaspora group, we are the shock absorbers, or we are like actually a niche to support the government. Therefore, if we are doing it economically, we should also do it to make sure that things on the continent, they are improving, they are moving forward. So the last panel today was on infrastructure. We came to know that COVID really awakened us how really infrastructures are struggling on the continent. We had one speaker actually who couldn't be able to make it because of network issues, shortage of electricity supply. Yesterday I was talking to a group in Nigeria. They were telling me that right now e-learning is even a challenge. So this is why we had this panel on infrastructure. What can we do? As a matter of fact, in June, we had another conference on the Marshall Plan for Africa. If you remember the Marshall Plan for US, it was aimed at helping Germany after the World War II. So basically, this has showed us that Africa is really into a struggling moment when it comes to her infrastructure. And by infrastructure, we mean education, we mean health, we mean rural electrification and industrialization. When we are talking of having products, having a bag of coffee, you need industries to do that, to produce that value-added product. That even in the trade we talk about, you can't participate at an international trade when you don't have a value-added product. So basically, how do we focus on the continent so that we see a moving forward? The theme for this year's conference was building a healthy and wealthy Africa. But building a healthy and wealthy Africa needs people, needs leadership. And that is where Africa has been struggling since independence. After independence, we had the coups. It was a period of coups, literally. So now that we are silencing guns, and with the African Union vision of 2063, of making the Africa we want. The Africa we want is not an Africa which is being seen as problematic. We are looking for an Africa which is going to be seen as a business opportunity, a business partner, and an Africa which gives hope to her generations to come. So that's why also we engage as youth. That's why, and actually I thank Dr. B, who mentioned about the willingness of US to support. The important, last week I was on a conference where Tibonash, the Assistant Secretary of State, was giving closing remarks. What he said is like, an African youth deserves a decent life, deserves a home, deserves to be able to put bread on the table, just like other youth in other countries. So there is will from US Department, there is will from Congress, there is will to help diaspora, and to help Africans. And by the way, I usually say US, we have an advantage. We have roots here. If there is any country which should help Africa, should be US. And I think they are very, very willing to do it. Whenever I see on USAID, there is always, the message says from US people to the African people. So the Americans, of which I am, by the way, if I use Americans, I'm an immigrant and I'm an American. I'm not distancing myself from that, but I'm trying to say the young immigrants, the young Americans, you take the American dream. Yes, it is a challenge, but guess what? It is viable. It's a dream that you can work on. So let's try to work on it to help our sisters and brothers who may not be having that opportunity. Sometimes you don't know that you have, you can only know what you have when you compare yourself with others. We have an opportunity here. Let us not just waste it. Let us just try to use that opportunity to help our continent to develop. I'll wind up on the issue of women, which Mary highlighted a lot. Women contribute almost 70% of the global consumption capacity. They almost, actually statistics say that by 20 years to come, they will be contributing almost 12% to the national gross product of developing countries and actually developed world. So the participation of women in politics, just like if they are contributing to the economy, it's essential, because when you allow them to come on the table, they have a different approach by them. Usually women are analytical. They are they assess. Even the current situation we usually see on the continent, I usually argue that at least if we had more women representation, not just representation, but turning women empowerment into gains. We have countries whereby you have women representation, but again, when you check for that voice, it's not there. So let us try to see if we can turn that into a voice that is going to be constructive to the community and also for the nations. I would just wind up with the barriers that make women not to be able to be in leadership. There is education, there is a culture which has kind of made women believe that their role is nurturing. We have to be at home, we have to raise children, and that hinders us from the participation. But maybe with the increase in the healthcare for the especially this time of COVID, we have seen that women are the majority participants in this period. So if they can really be at the front line, they should be also on the front line on other areas of development. And also by maybe increasing child care, it would allow more women either in the political arena or even on economic side. The other thing which hinders women, it's how do I put it? Sometimes when it comes to women empowerment, it's a topic that I push away, and I will tell you why. As an African woman, I majored in political science. So you can imagine people are like, it's uncool for a woman to go for political science. I remember one time when I was at the University of Tennessee, my professor asked me, he said, why were you interested in political science? And I was like, well, I come from Rwanda, and in Rwanda we say that he who has got a woman, a better woman has got a better home. So we empower women generally. When you see women representation in Rwanda, don't think it's just it's a culture based. Women are usually they are not only homemakers, but they are actually the managers of those homes. So we believe that if you can manage a home, you can manage, you know what? I mean, you can be able to contribute to the society. So I told her, I said, growing up, I wanted to be a Rwandan ambassador, and I was like interested in it. But the problem why I was not interested more in politics was because of the problems of African politics. So I was like, I don't want to die at age 30 or not even 20 something. So she was like, so what are you going to do? I said, no, we can change the narrative of African politics to be peaceful, but yet developmental, to be to approach the arena in a different context. And that's why I had to become actually the coordinator of Watch Democracy Grow. So we believe, and at that time, when I was talking to her, she said, oh, so you are interested in it? And I said, yes, for sure I'm interested in it. At that time, Rwanda was struggling with unity and reconciliation. And my thesis on that was that unity and reconciliation in Rwanda is only possible if there is the rule of law and good governance. And it's not only in Rwanda, it's also possible in Cameroon, where we consider these countries to be torn countries by ethnicity issues. Wherever you are having such kind of difficult social setups, at least just like we see in the US, out of many one, a proboscimo mass. It's like you can exist as different. It's okay. There is a reason why you are created differently. Sometimes I reach to a degree whereby you are talking of Black Life Matters. Let me tell you, every life matters. When I and usually I tell people that we don't need to remind people that Black life matters. You should know that as long as you come on this planet Earth, your life matters. It is very important. There is a reason why you are there, and you should be protected for that. So democracy is one notion that will allow us to achieve that through inclusiveness. And I will thank all of you. I will always wish you well. And that makes the end of my remarks.
Well, I think that brings the program